Today's practice is very much a solstice and equinox practice, and it celebrates in this particular system, the 5 energies. I've talked about that before, but just picking up the Ayurveda hat, which is the medicine side of yoga, they talk about, perhaps in cleansing and purifications, you talk about the pancha, the 5 energies, the cleansers, pancha, karma, and here we're talking about the pancha kosha. So it's basically bringing into awareness every aspect of our bodies and the emotional aspects of our body as well. So it's very classic yoga. If you're interested, or maybe you're not, it comes very much from the traditional yoga, which kind of has its roots around the Krishnamacharya yoga, which you'll find down in Chennai. So there is a chant that goes with this, but I wouldn't necessarily invite you to say that. But if you do, as you're breathing out, you might or might not like to say to yourself, to start with, ma aham, which is M-A, and then aham is A-H-A-M. So it's reflecting on yourself within your all of your energies. But the purpose of the chant is to control your breath. So if you're mentally saying something to yourself, ma aham, you slow your movement down. So you, it's a way, or it's a breathwork system within the yoga itself. So just come to standing. This is, again, slightly different yoga from what we've done. It is very gentle. And we're going to start with something that's very familiar to you. So just again, going from side to side. And to use this, side to side. So this again moves through all the energies. And movement is the opposite of stagnation. And it's stagnation that can cause problems with disease. It's called an accumulation in Ayurveda medicine. You accumulate your energies where you don't want them to be accumulated, and can lead to, in the Ayurveda medicine Bible, it can lead to disease. So this is the opposite to that. And then the other point, which I tend to forget, is worth remembering, that your lymph, or your fluids, need to be moved. They're not something that they need actual physical movement, so you're actually going some way to distributing everything and just moving everything to help in that sense. And your lymph, of course, is so connected with your immune system. And then just very, very gently come to slow your movement down and come to standing. So standing, mountain pose, Tadasana, but in this system it's called Samastiti. It's equal weight through your body, and just be aware of your posture. Just come slightly forward, spreading your toes. Just come slightly back onto your heels. Just slightly go to one side, come through the centre and go to the other side. And it's just a balance of weight awareness. Lift and roll your shoulders, opening the energy pathways into the head. And we start by very gently raising the arms to the side with bent elbows. Breathing in as you raise the arms up. Breathing out as you lower the arms. Feel the air between your fingers as you connect to your hands, sense of touch, and your heart, which is very much the focus of today's practice, coming in the summer solstice week. Inhaling, gently lifting up. pausing, and start to breathe out. Lower your hands, finish your movement, and then finish your breath. So your breath wraps around your movement. You start your breath, you raise your arms, hold the breath, and then start to breathe out as you lower your arms. And you might notice when you slow it down like this and the breath leads the movement that it's less effort. So as you start to breathe in, everything lifts up, and the movement of lifting your arms up is slightly less heavy. And then breathing out, lowering your hands, and just lifting and rolling your shoulders. So I'm going to turn sideways, as you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to step out with my left foot a little bit. And then for balance, you might want to bring your left foot slightly out to the side, and feel free that you can adjust your feet at any point. Your back right foot is slightly out at maybe a 45-degree angle, but everyone's individual. So breathing in, as we did before, raising your arms. You don't have to lift them right up, it's to wherever works for you. Hold the breath for a nanosecond at the top. And then as you breathe out, lower your arms, bend your front left knee, and come forward. You can use your hands against your shins to support your weight, coming as far down as you want to, maybe to the floor, pressing your feet into the ground, breathing in, and coming up to standing. It's quite an effort. Keep the weight on your back right foot, inhaling, breathing in, raising your arms as much as you want to. You can look up. And breathing out, you can mentally say to yourself, ma, a hum as you breathe out, or not. Pressing your feet into the ground to support you as you roll up, and you can use your hands against your legs to support that weight. Inhaling, raising up, you're stretching everything in your body. You can look up if this is good for you, if not, look ahead. And breathing out, bend your elbows by all means, or don't bend your elbows, it's a softer movement to bend your elbows. Bend your front knee and come down to the ground. Inhaling, press your feet, secure your weight at the back as you roll up. You're opening the front of your body, you're opening the back. And breathing out, roll down. The invitation is to say ma, a hum. It just slows everything down. And pressing your feet down again. As you lift up, stretch your fingers, press into the back right foot, it opens your hip at the back. And last one as we come down. Press your feet down as you roll up. Step your left foot back to your right and feel that you can make adjustments. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then stepping forward with your right foot, as little or as much as you would like. You've always got the option to bring your right foot out towards the edge of the mat to secure your balance, and your left foot turns to a sort of 45 degrees, and feel free to adjust that. Start your breath in as you then lift your arms, let the breath do the work. Hold the breath and breathing out. If you want to mentally say ma, a hum, then please do. And as you come forward, just feel that you're putting some weight onto your back left foot. Breathing in as you press your feet down and rolling up. Do use your hands to support you if you need to. Inhaling and breathing out. Ma, a hum. Coming down. Breathing in. Coming down only as far as you want to. You might like to limit how far you come down. Ma, a hum. You can come just to your shins, you don't have to come right down. Inhaling. Coming up. Stretching your fingers. Breathing out. Ma, a hum. hum, softening your front right knee as you come down, pressing your feet into the ground to support your weight as you roll up, and breathing out, ma, aham. Roll up gradually, vertebra by vertebra, really supporting your weight as you come up, and then bring your front foot back and lift and roll your shoulders. Just for a moment, feel that effect in your body. Stand with your feet slightly hip width apart, and inhaling, raising your arms up, really bending your knees. You can bend your elbows as you roll down. Again, your hands can stay on your shins, or you can roll right down that your hands touch the ground. Press your feet into the ground. As you roll up by vertebra, you can use your hands against your legs to support you. Inhaling, coming up. So you won't be aware of this, that this is moving into a slightly different body. Ma, aham. If you want to control your breath, and if you want to add an extra syllable to that chant, because your breath is longer as you're coming up, you can add to the chant ma, aham, aham. Breathing out. It's a way of slowing your movement down, and you coordinate your breath with your movement. So it becomes quite mindful as we carry on. It's very controlled, and if your breath is slow, your mind is slowing. And then last one, as you roll down, ma, aham, aham. Pause at the end, and pressing your feet down, roll up vertebra by vertebra. Inhaling, lift and roll your shoulders. Just turn your head slightly towards one direction. Come back to the centre, and just very gently turn your head towards the other side, as little or as much as you would like, and come to the centre. Connect to, in this case, the summer energies again of the heart, so just hands width above your navel, and your small intestine. The heart energy, even on this rainy day, is particularly relevant to the summer solstice, and we're in that week of summer solstice energy. And then bringing your hand to your heart, opening your elbows, just connecting to the energy through your lymph system and giving space to your lungs, as you bend your knees and roll down in your own time to come to the mat. And come to a seated position, so you can, classically you would come to a cross-legged position, but if that's not great for your knees, just come to sitting with your legs out. Come to wherever's comfortable for you. And just take a couple of breaths. Your hands can be either side of you to support your spine. And have a sense that your spine is lengthening. And then breathing out, just gently turn to one side. So I'm putting my left hand across my body to my right knee and gently turning. And coming back to the centre, holding both knees with both hands. It lengthens me. And then breathing out, I'm bringing my right hand across to my left knee. And breathing in and out. Coming back to the centre and just slightly bringing your hands in front of you, a nod to the rotational movement that we just made. So realigning your back, everything is gentle today. Walk your hands back, place your hands on your knees, sit up a little bit, and breathing out, roll your chin down to your chest. Feel as you extend your neck down towards your chest and you're stretching out the back of your neck. You at the front are using something in yoga called a chin mudra or a Jalandhara mudra. But the point that you might be more interested in is that this activates the vagus nerve, and so it's calming for the body and the emotions. And then sitting up, supporting your hands under your legs as you bring your legs out into a gentle V at this point. And just bouncing your legs. And just a nod to our feet. Use your hands to support you. Just extend your toes up and point your toes away. How much you point them away is up to you. And extending your feet, toes up and then pointing away. And extending your toes up and then pointing away. Just slowly rotate your ankles a couple of times in one direction. And then rotate your ankles a few times in the other direction. And then spread your toes, just feel the space between your toes. And then just relax your feet. Bending up your right knee, support it and turn your right foot towards the inside of your left thigh. If you've got support handy or you need it, then do feel that you can put support under your right thigh. Just touch your fingers to either side of you so that you're lengthening your spine, and extend your left toes upwards so that you're extending your heel a little bit and activating the inside of your leg, which is a psoas muscle connecting to many things, including a natural element of fear. But anyway, so inhaling, raising your arms up. Your arms can be straight up, they can be bent. Just choose your level. Turn slightly towards your left outstretched leg. Now I am going to bend my elbows to support my lower back and slide my hands along my left leg to my shin, but Nikki might want to just come straight forward if you've got a strong lower back. Inhaling, slide your hands up as you raise them again, as little or as much as you would like. You can keep a bend in your elbows, and breathing out, you can connect into that mouth hum if you want to. Inhaling, slide your hands along your left leg to support you to come up. Inhaling up. Breathing out, just bring your abdomen slightly in towards your spine to support you, to support your back, sliding forward. Inhaling, sliding your hands along your thigh, lifting up, and breathing out, coming forward. And inhaling, sliding your hands along. You'll notice that your right outside thigh is open at the inner groin, and this is giving space to your lower lymph on the right side, so it's a boost to your immune system. Inhaling up, very calming both for the body and for the mind. This is head to knee pose, or Janu Sirsasana. Janu is knee, Sirsasana is asana is the pose, and Sirsasana is the head pose. And then just last time, just slide your hands down. Stay here for an in and an out breath. The whole of your spine is slightly coming forward, and so the space between the vertebrae increases, and it allows the muscles to very slightly elongate, and yet you're very safely held in this position. Slide your hands along your leg. Support your right leg as you lift up your right knee, and once more come back to your V, hands either side as you just bounce your legs. Just massage your knee however you want to, just inside and outside. The entire knee is a marble point. Particularly at the back of the knee, you've got those little grooves where energy flows through the knee to the feet. And then very gently, once again, place your hands either side of you. And this time, gently, you can support your left leg, but just bring up your left leg and place the inside of your left sole of the foot towards your right outstretched leg. Your right toes are upwards, you extend your right heel. Just lift your spine as you breathe in. Turn slightly towards the right outstretched leg, and then inhaling. Raising up, you can raise your arms right up, or you can just bend them. And breathing out, tummy or lower abdomen comes in slightly to the spine as you slide your hands along your shin. You can come midway, you can go a little bit further if you want an increased stretch, but the idea is to very gently open all your energy channels. So inhaling, raising your arms up, abdomen slightly in as you bend your elbows, or come with your elbows straight if you've got a very strong lower back. Sliding your hands down, ma, aham. Pause at the end of your breath. Start your breath as you begin to lift up, making your movement, stretching up to where you want to be. Pause at the top of your breath, and then breathing out. Then start your movement to make it softer on your body. Ma, aham, coming forward. And inhaling, sliding up. Tummy in, ma, aham. You might add another aham as you come forward. And just stay here for a couple of breaths, letting the movement settle in your body, letting everything absorb. Breathing in and breathing out. And then very gently sliding up, supporting your left leg as you come back once more to a seated position. Coming into a cross-leg position. And just take your right thumb against your right nostril. You might want to drop your elbow and your shoulder. Classically, you would keep your arm up, but I find that quite tough on the shoulder. Just focus on breathing in and out a few times through your left nostril. It's focusing on your left side. And it's bringing energy to the left side of the body, the moon side of your body, the more passive side. If you want to increase the effects of this simple breath, you can very gently and lightly lift the corners of your mouth. And just notice the difference as the air and energy moves further upwards by this very simple movement through the back of the throat. And then very gently lower your right hand. And this is a very simple preparation for breathing. You can either use your left hand, or you can use your right hand again and just use the ring finger of your left hand. But whatever, you block the other nostril, your left nostril, and just breathe in and out through the right side, focusing only on your right side. So the right side connects into, for instance, the liver and the gallbladder. So they are all aspects emotionally of anger and irritation and frustration. You're balancing the left and the right, not only sides of your body, but the left and right hemispheres of your brain. And this is a preparation for a breath that might be very familiar to you, called Nadi Shodhana, balancing the nadis or the energy points, so alternate nostril breathing. Deeply calming. Just a nod to that balance. And then very gently lower your hands. Place your hands either side of you, just to again support and lengthen your body. And then come to kneeling. So you're going to come into a very, very, almost like cat position. If you need to take any support for under your knees, then please do. But I'm also aware that some people don't like to sit back on their heels. So if you're one of those people, especially some people don't like to tuck their toes, then you love that. So I would do that, sitting, resting on your heels. You can put a cushion under your bottom, or tuck your toes if you particularly like that. But if you really aren't a lover of that, then kneel up, because that's easier. And if you kneel up, you might want to spread your knees a little bit wider. But whatever you adopt, position you adapt, be happy with it and be comfortable with it. So inhaling, raising your arms up as little or as much as you would like. You can look ahead, you can look up, you can bend your elbows. And breathing out, lower your arms. Depending on your comfort, you can come to sitting back down again, but again, this is entirely optional. Inhaling, raising your arms. If you want to kneel up, that's fine. And breathing out, lowering. You'll feel this movement in here as you lift up. And these muscles sitting on top of the femur, your quads, are connected into, sort of surprisingly, your immune system again, because a lot of blood cells are manufactured in this long thigh bone, your femur. And so these muscles carry a lot of toxins, so you're again quite connecting to your immune system, your lymph flow. Inhaling, lifting up. And coming down. And then last time, lifting up. You could, if you wanted to, mentally say ma, aham as you're breathing out and coming down. Just stay here for a moment, wherever you are comfortable, to just regain your breath. And then again, coming up as you did before. And this time, breathing out, come to cat. Dipping your back, rounding your back, coming with your bottom towards your heels, stretching out. Then sliding your hands back to your knees as you lift up again. Inhaling, breathing out, lowering your hands back down to the floor in cat. Feel free to slide and adjust your hands. Inhaling, dipping your back, either looking up or looking along the floor, depending on your neck. Breathing out and rounding your back, chin comes slightly to chest, and then bringing your bottom towards your heels as you stretch your arms out and feel that you can stretch your arms further. Slide your hands back towards your knees as you lift up on your knees again. Inhaling, raising your arms up. You can look up, stretch your hands or look ahead. Breathing out. Bring your hands back to cat. Inhaling as you dip your back, looking either up or along the floor, and rounding your back, chin to chest. Carry on bringing your bottom towards your heels and stretch your hands out in front of you, just enjoying that stretch of the thoracic area. And then sliding your hands back to your knees as you lift up. This next variation is optional, so you can opt not to do it. Exhaling, lowering your hands back down to cat as we did before. Inhaling, dipping your back. Exhaling, rounding. And as you round, there you can either stay in cat and cow by dipping your back, or you can take it a stage further as you tuck your toes and lift one knee and then the other into a very soft dog. Keep your knees bent, sense that you're lengthening your spine, and when it's lengthened, straighten your legs a little bit. Your heels don't have to touch the ground, and then just bend one knee and then the other knee. You can always opt to stay in child and do cat, either child or cat cow. But either walk the dog and then very gently bend your knees. Both knees come back down to the ground. Uncurl your feet as you tuck them up, and then bring your bottom towards your heels, stretching out as we did before. Sliding your hands towards your knees as you once more lift up. Breathing out, lower your hands. Again, the same principles occur, but you start to initiate your breath, complete your movement, dipping your back into cat. Finish your movement and finish your breath. Breathing out, round your back, and then begin to tuck your toes. Coming on up into downward dog, optionally, otherwise just stay in cat. Stretch your back out, this is an inversion. Stretching the back of your heels, and then bend both knees, coming back down to the mat, stretching the underneath of your toes, flattening your feet as you bring your bottom towards your heels and stretch your hands out in front of you. And then sliding your hands back. And then coming to your bottom, coming to have your feet out in front of you, and then just coming to lying on your back, knees are bent, feet are hip width apart. Your hands can rest on your abdomen, or you can adopt the summer heart and small intestine, where one hand goes slightly below the navel, a hand's width below, one hand above the navel. The upper hand is heart, the lower hand is small intestine. And the heart is particularly the focus of today's session, coming in the summer solstice, although this entire practice is linked to solstice, a change, recognition of the whole body, everything about us. So bring your hands, palms down on the floor, and hopefully you'll know what I mean by a pelvic tilt, just flattening your back as if you're going to lift your bottom, and then just relaxing everything back down to the earth, so there's a little gap under your lower back. And then flattening your back as if you're going to lift up, and then just releasing and relaxing everything. This is very strengthening for the lower back. But we're going to carry on now. Start your breath, press your feet down, lift your bottom, lift your arms, it can be bent. Above your head, almost to the ground below, chin tucks in, hold the breath. Start your breath out, almost half breathe out or more, and your arms will automatically then naturally flow down back to the earth as you lower your bottom. And now your hands back down to the ground. And then pressing your feet down as you flatten your back, start to lift your bottom, lift your arms, chin tucks down towards the chest. Hold your breath as you get to the top, lift up as little as much as you'd like, and then start to breathe out, only lowering your arms as the breath naturally encourages the arms to come down, and you're lowering your bottom back down to the ground. And then the next one, pressing your feet down, lifting up, lifting your arms, chin comes down. Hold the breath at the top. Breathing out, lowering your back down to the ground, lowering your arms. And then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. And just enjoy the gentle rock from side to side. And then holding both knees together, move both knees as one as you make little tiny circles, possibly no bigger than a 50p piece, so that you're massaging around the base of your spine. You're not moving very much at all, and both knees are together and move together. And then very gently reverse your direction so that your knees are going in the opposite direction and you're bouncing up your lower spine. And then place your feet on the ground, supporting yourself under your legs if you need support. Feet are hip width apart. And just open your arms sideways like a T at shoulder height. If that's too strong for you, then lower your hands slightly to an A shape so that it's less pressure. And just very gently let both knees drift one side, your hip will lift. Feel free to spread your feet wider than hip width apart towards the edges of your mat for a softer swaying from side to side. Both knees go to the other direction and the other hip lifts off the ground. Pressing your feet down. You can stay like this, or you can begin to bring your head movement into this. As the knees go in one direction, your head gently turns away from your knees. Bring your head and knees to the centre, and then your knees go in the other direction as your head gently turns the other way. And then just come back to the centre. And just place your hands, elbows rest on the ground. Your hands once more connecting. One hand slightly above the navel, one hand below. Your elbows can rest on the ground. And just connecting to your breath. Notice as you breathe in, and notice as you breathe out. Your abdomen very slightly rises on the in-breath. There's a pause, and your abdomen very gently falls away from you on the out-breath. And then very gently hug your knees into your chest once more. Once more rock from side to side. And come, taking your time however you would like to a very gentle seated position. You can roll to the right, away from your heart. You can press your hands into your knee and roll up to a very gentle position, a seated position. And come either to having be a cross-leg position, or you can come with your feet out. We're just going to give a nod to a back bend. So just bring your hands either side of your view, lengthen your spine, and lift your chest. So you can keep it like that. I know some of you don't like to put your head back, or you can lift your chin and just slightly look up. But we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Lifting the chin and then just very gently relaxing and coming back to a seated position. So in this sequence, the Pancha Maya, the five energies, we acknowledge them in a slightly different way as we finish the class. So breathing in, raising your hands slightly up, bringing them in front of you, lower into the heart, and then sliding your hands forward either to touch your feet or symbolically bring your attention to your feet. So the chant here would be Om Bu, B-U-H, which is connecting you to the earth and the physical world. So inhaling, sliding your hands up, circling your hands, bringing them together, back through along your heart, and connecting to the next energy, bringing your hands to the lower abdomen, Om Bhuva. This is the astral body, the desire, it's our breath, and it's the world of becoming in this Panchakarma system. And then inhaling, raising the hands, bringing them together at the top, then bringing them back through to the heart. And as you bring them through to the heart, just rest them at the navel, Om Suva. And that's the causal silence, it's the mind, it's the world of emotion. And then inhaling, circling your hands upwards, bringing them together, coming through to the heart. And then staying at the heart, you might want to just connect with your heart. Om Maha. So this is all to do with emotion. You won't be surprised at that. And in yoga and in this series of yoga, you always linger fractionally longer at the heart because there are so many connections through the heart. It's almost, in some traditions, given as much, it's considered a brain. It does link to the brain, but it's almost the heart-brain connection is very important. And then inhaling, bringing your hands, coming through to the heart, but just raising up to the throat. Just gently hold your throat. Om Jana, it's the world of creative generation. It's where we express ourselves through the throat, so connects to the spiritually, but anyway, that's the throat. And then inhaling, raising your hands, bringing them back through to the heart, but then bringing them up and just touching your third eye, your brow, the middle of your forehead. Om Tapa, T-A-P-A-H. It's the world of intuition where you sense things. And then finally raising your hands up, bringing them back through to your heart, and bringing your hands to the crown of your head. Om Satyam, it's the world of the absolute truth. It links to your higher consciousness. And then very gently lower your hands back down by your side. And mentally just connect. You can sit seated, you can sit with your legs out or sit in a cross-legged position. Just gently close your eyes and for a moment mentally connect with those areas again. So mentally connect with every element of yourself. Your feet, if you mentally think of your feet, you're connecting yourself to the earth. It's what grounds you, holds your reality. Om Buha. And then your lower abdomen, connecting you to your breath, your astral being, your world of desires. Om Buha. Your navel connects to your mental being. And again, your navel and your this area is again very intuitive. It connects the belly and brain connection. So it's viewed as the centre of your being in some Eastern traditions. So Om Suva. And then to the heart, not surprisingly, if you bring your attention to the heart, the seat of emotion. So much more than just the heart. And that's Om Maha. And then you come to the throat, which is your connection of your general creative aspect. It expresses you. And then you come to your mid-brow, Om Tapa. So connecting to your intuition. And once more, just bring your mind to the top of your head, the crown, Om Satyam. And then just bring your hands back down. And take 2 or 3 breaths, just noticing how you feel now, at the end of the practice. We've worked through the entire body and emotional bodies. Just take a bow for yourself, bringing your hands once more to your heart. Take your chin slightly to your chest. And thank you very much for joining us today, and have a lovely day ahead.